Hi, I'm Cheryl. I'm going to show you how I made this card today, and this is just so cute. I've done a lot of die cutting in advance because I want to spend some time showing you how I used the new Stampin Blends that Stampin' Up! Has come out with. But this is what we'll need for the card today. We're going to need a piece of Whisper White cardstock. But let's start with the pink. We need a piece of powder pink cardstock. This is 5.5 by 8.5. Scored and folded 4 1/4. A piece of Beary burst cardstock. You'll need a piece 5 by 4 1/4. Like I said, I've already pre-cut a lot of this stuff. So then you'll need some Whisper White. You need a piece that's 6 by 2 3/4, and we're using that to cut these little border die, these little corner dies. And we need a piece that's 2 by 2 approximately, and that's going to be for your bear. As you can see, I just used a bit of scrap paper I had, and the bear is stamped in crumb cake first. You line the die up over it and cut it out using the die that comes in the A Little Wild bundle. Okay, so then let's see, what else do we need? Then I had a piece here that's 3.5 by 3 3/4, and that I'll cut my outside heart out of. That cuts out this inside heart, and save that, because then you'll cut this little inside heart that's all stitched around the edge from that piece. We'll be very frugal with our cardstock. And then we need another piece of powder pink, and this is 3 by 2.5, and that was cut also with the same die that I cut these two pieces out of. You see, I just used this die and cut this heart, and then that fits perfectly inside this die cut. Okay, that's the papers we need. This is the die cut set I used. I got this on AliExpress, as well as the corner die set, and I'll put a link for where I got those. And I also got the big oval with the stitching around the edges. Also got that from AliExpress. All three of these, I'll give you the links to these. And we're using A Little Wild bundle. We're using the bundle. I'm using the little bear here. And then it has the die cut for the bear in the back. And it's nice because these dies have the cutting part right along the inside edge, so it makes it very easy to line them up and cut your dies out. And then from Baby Bear, I used Love You and Very Much. That'll go on the inside of our card. We have Tombow glue, and I have my Zig two-way glue pen. I'll be using that, as well as some white iridescent glitter. Yeah, we're gonna make a big glittery mess. I always end up with glitter everywhere. The crumb cake, that's what I stamped the bear in. Use that to stamp your bear. And then for our love you very much, I'm using Beary burst for that. And I have my pens. I have the light Pool Party, the dark Daffodil Delight. I have my light and dark crumb cake. I have the light pink Pirouette. And I have an ultra fine point Sharpie marker. Okay, let's get going on this card. the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in these little lacy things and turn them over, and you can tell which side is the back because it's got you can feel its little rough edges on it. So we're going to turn them all face downward, and I'm going to use my zig marker, or my zig pen. I'm going to put that on here, and it's a two-way glue, so it's like the Tombow in that it when it dries sticky. So I'm going to put that all around the edges of this lacy bit. I'll put that aside and do the same on these. Just going all around the edges here. I'm not doing the whole thing. And this card could be used for a lot of different things. It could, of course, it could be a baby girl card. It could be, because I'm going to stamp love you very much on the inside. It could be, become a birthday card. It could be, so you could say love you very much, happy birthday, or happy anniversary, or get well soon, or hope you get well soon. But I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to send this to a friend of mine, because just recently it was the 2-year anniversary of her daughter passing away, and it always naturally affects her very much and makes her very sad. So I think this would cheer her up. I'll put a little handwritten note inside. I'll think of something. Think of something to put in there. I just think she might need something to lift her up a little bit, you know? Okay, so there's that. Often I have someone in mind when I'm making these cards. Okay, so we've got those done. They're going to sit over there. They're going to dry a little bit. So let's get our little bear in here. I moved my camera down, so hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm doing here. It's still a little far away, I think. Let me see what let me put it on. Maybe if I lift it up a little bit. That's a little better. Okay. So I'm going to start out. I have my crumb cake, and I have my my 2 crumb cake markers and my pink Pirouette. You can get these either as sets, or you can buy them singly also. Okay, so I'm going to start out, and this is the way I like to do it. And I'm going to just put down. I'm going to start with the body of the bear here. And I'm just going to put down all over where I want the crumb cake color. I'm just going to put that light crumb cake down, starting with the light one. Okay, and I'm not being real particular about how it looks just yet. Now I'm going to go back with the dark one. In any place I think he should have a shadow, I'm going to add a little bit of this dark. So here on his little leg, I'm going to put some dark. I'm going to put some here. And of course under his chin here would be some shadow, so I'll put some dark in there. And down along the bottom of his feet and his toes, just put a little bit of that dark. Okay. Now I'm going to come back with my light crumb cake. And there are 2 different tips, by the way. I'm using the more painterly tip. Let me show you the other one. This one's a little finer tip. So I'm using the painterly tip. Now I'm going to go back with my light, and I'm going to just go over that, and this will just blend it in. One thing to keep in mind when you're doing this, you want to work in a section. You notice I didn't do the face too. Oh, I didn't. I need a little dark there. Didn't put my dark right there. Okay. I'm just going to go back over these. And this is going to, because the inks are still wet, then I'll just blend that in. Okay. Just all over here on his feet. Okay. And then I'm going to just continue, and I'm going to do all this again. Avoiding the B. Okay. Now I want to give him some shape to his body, so around the outside here I want a little darker color, and on the edge of this front foot I want a color that's in between my dark and my light. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my dark marker, I'm going to put a little bit out here, and I'm going to pick it up with the light marker. And I'm going to use that around the edge here that I want to. I want to make it a little darker. Okay, and then I'll do the same right here along that front foot. Okay, so that makes it just a little darker around the edge. Let me hold this up here a little better. It makes it just a little darker around the edge and makes his body look rounded. Okay, so now we'll move on to the face of the bear. And I'm just going to scribble this out a little bit because I want to make sure I don't have any of that darker color on my pen anymore. I'm still using the light crumb cake. So now I'm going to do his face. I'm just going to cover that. When I get up to the ears, I'm just going to go around the outside of the ear. I'm going to leave that little center part blank for now. Okay, so there we go. I got that. Oh. Close these up. Being alcohol markers, you do want to keep them closed, because they will evaporate. Now, in that little spot in the ears, I'm just going to dab in just a little bit of this pink Pirouette. So just a little pink color there. And also his cheeks. I know bears don't have rosy cheeks, but I'm just going to go over that crumb cake and put that in. Put that pink in there. Okay, so it's kind of a brownish pink now. Let me show you this up close. You see I've got rings around it. I'm going to go back now with my light crumb cake. And all up, wrong end. They have little lines on here telling you what ends they are, but somehow I always seem to open the wrong one. So now I'm going to go back with my light crumb cake and just leave him with his little pink, just little pink cheeks. You might have noticed, I went way up into his eyes and everything with this. Okay, now we can start, we can shape his face. So, once again, I'm going to take the dark crumb cake, and this time instead of doing like I did with the body, I'm just gonna very lightly just dab a little bit around the outside. I'm going to come down in a V on his forehead a little, Hold on a second. Let me get the... Okay, you see, I put a little V on his forehead because animals seem to have like a little furrow on their foreheads, and just a little bit. And I'm not going to go all the way down to the bottom of his face where I'm just blending with the pink. You can see what I have here. Okay. Normally, a lot of times I'll stamp with, I want to use a black ink. And the black ink to use on this is, use the Memento Tuxedo Black. If you, some inks, when you use them, they'll bleed into your thing. In this case, it doesn't really matter if it bleeds a bit because I'm using crumb cake, and so it just blends right in with my blend pens. And I'm going around his eyes here, so he has kind of little eyebrows. And it's just a very subtle shading there. Let me hold that up. You see, I went just around his eyes. He's got just little eyebrows. You can lightly see the little forehead furrow, and it's a little darker around the edge here, so it gives it a little dimension. Makes his face look rounded. So now I'm going to cut off this extra part here. I've got my scissors, my little fussy cutting scissors out. I'm just going to cut this off. So our little bear is ready to go onto our card. And I see I didn't die cut this very well, even though the dies are easy to line up. I think it might have shifted a bit because I didn't use either my magnetic platform or tape on it because I was in a hurry. I get in a hurry sometimes. Okay, and that's good. So we have our bear. Our bear is all set. I hope I'm keeping in camera because I've lowered my camera so I could show you this part. Okay. We have to do the little bee. So I have my dark Daffodil Delight. I'm using the very fine point one. And just put a little yellow on the bee body. Then because I stamped this with crumb cake, he doesn't look very bee-like, so I have my ultra fine point. And I'm just going to give the bee a little bit of black stripes there. And last but not least, I have my light pool party. I'm going to use just the tiny tip, the small tip. I'm just going to add just a little bit of color on the wings. Another marker tip is, I know it's really tempting to get yourself a nice little something or other and store your markers like this, but don't do that. They should be stored flat. You want to keep them flat because you have these two sides. You want the ink to be on both sides. If you store them like this, that ink is going to end up draining down to one side or the other. So store your markers flat. Okay. You know what? I think I put this up on dimensionals. I'm going to grab my dimensionals real quick. Okay, so add that to the list of things you need for this project. I'll put them down below, but I missed them in my thing. And we're actually ready to start putting this card together now. So that was the fussiest part of it. Okay, so I've got my card base, pink Pirouette. Next goes down are our corners. Are they sticky? They're not very sticky. Well, I'm not real thrilled with that, the stickability of the zigs. Let me see. Nope, that's not going to work. Well, here's a little trick. We're going to do this fast and dirty. I've got my snail, and I'm just going to put some snail on here. I think I'm putting some snail on here. Oh, there we go. I'm getting snail on there now. I had a little bit stuck on my mat. I'll just pick that up. Okay. And if there's any that comes through, you can see it through these little windows, then you can just pat it with your fingers like this, and usually it'll go away. If it doesn't, then just get your pokey tool out and just go in there like so. Okay. And we're going to put one of these in each of these corners. So Cheryl says the zig glue is not good for doing this technique that I usually use. Usually what I do, I take my Tombow, and I'll use my Tombow and do that. And I'll just put little bits all around with the Tombow real lightly, and I'll let that dry. So I'm going to do my heart real quick. Well, that was disappointing. I thought I was going to really love that zig for doing that, but it's not sticky enough. It does work wonderfully for doing the foil, the flake stuff. The heck is it called? Embellishment flakes. It's sticky enough for those. You want to put it in just a little area. Alright, there's that one. Let me put that down on the card. And there we go. There's that one. Yeah, I know, I'm doing it 2 different ways. But there's more than one way to do things. Sometimes. I really don't want to get this Tombow glue everywhere, but what are you going to do? Okay, put that one in this corner. Tap it down. And one more. I'm going to need a diaper wipe to clean my mat up now. Alright, and we got that one in this corner. There we go. Oh, knocked it off. Because my fingers are sticky with Tombow. Okay, let me grab a diaper wipe. I really do need to wipe my fingers and my craft mat here. Okay. We've got all our little lacy bits down now. So now we can decorate them. Let's do the glitter now. I have a piece of scrap paper here on the side. And the zig does work good for this. So I just go over all the lacy bits. And if you miss a little part of it, well, I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference. You just get most of it covered, you'll be good. am going to do the 2 on this side, and then I'll put my glitter on, and I'll do the other 2. Oh, this would be a good Valentine's Day card too. Did I mention that in my... I was telling you how all the different things. Valentine's Day card. Very versatile. Okay. So let's get some glitter on there. Sprinkle some glitter on there liberally. Shake that off. Now I'll do the other side here. Am I out of the paper? I am. This must be so exciting to watch. To watch me put this glue on here. Let's see, what else can I talk about while I'm doing this? Oh, I know. You might want to, when you're doing your Christmas shopping, save a bit for yourself, because in January, the Stampin' Up! Celebration will start. And that's a pretty cool thing. They have all these things that for every $50, and then this year they also have for every $100 you spend. They have all these great little, well, they're not little, they're, you know, they're regular stuff, but they have stamp sets, they have card making kits, they have just all kinds of things. I think they have a die set this year. I think that's one of the $100 ones. And I got to get a little peek because I'm a demonstrator. They posted the PDFs on the website, which I can't show you guys yet, but I will as soon as I'm allowed to. That won't be till like January 1st. What I can do is, though, when I do I can pre-order things too. So I get to pre-order in December. When I get my pre-order, I'll show you when I'm opening my box. That's what I'll do. And you can see all the cool stuff I got. Alright, so I'm just going to set this aside for the moment. Let's see, where can I put that? Yeah, right over here looks good. I'm going to try not to get glitter everywhere, but who knows. Okay, so now we're ready to put our oval on. What have I done with my Tombow? I'm going to put some Tombow on the back of it. And I went with this oval because it has the stitching. That matches the stitching on the little heart inside. And I'm just going to center this on my paper. Press it down in place. And then I can put this little heart with the stitching onto the pink Pirouette heart. And if you wanted to, these two could get popped up too. I only popped the bear up. You could really get some dimension. You get a lot of dimension in there. So that could be, so the white heart could be popped up on top of the pink one. And then the pink one could get popped up, but I'm not doing that. Okay, so I'm going to put my lacy heart. I have my Tombow already on there. Remember, I put that on there after I found out I was disappointed with the zig. And just press this all down. And then I can put Tombow on the back of the pink. I'm going to put that right in the center. There we go. And then our little bear, where'd my dimensionals go? There they are. Our little bear does get popped up. Oh, that's one more thing I wanted to show you about these. This is the back of the bear. You see how that ink has bled through? Then you know you're doing it right. The ink should go right through your paper. Okay? So, if you're doing this and you see that happen, don't get all upset. Think you're doing something wrong. That's what's supposed to happen. And here I got 3 little dimensionals on the bear. I'm off camera because I'm not used to it being down this low. We'll peel those dimensionals off. And we're going to center that little bear, our cute little bear, right in the middle of these hearts. And dummy me, I should have stamped the inside of the card before I got this far, just in case I mess it up. But I didn't. So let me get my Beary Burst ink. Ink my 2 stamps mounted already on this on the stamp block, and I tested this beforehand just to make sure that they're lined up the way I want them to be. And I'll just stamp that right in the centered side to side and a little bit up towards the top, because I want to leave some room down below here so I can put happy birthday, happy Valentine's Day, miss you lots, whatever. And that's our card. We're done. Yay! All except for cleaning up glitter for the next 3 weeks. But if you've liked this video, then be sure to hit that like button. I hope you enjoyed it. If there are any Stampin' Up! Products you'd like to purchase, you can do that either through my website or my Facebook page. And as always, I'll list all the materials I use down below. And so y'all take care, stay safe, and happy stamping.